Hey, how's it going guys? I'm Paradoxic, and we are back with more of the Snyder Cut of Justice League, this time going straight into part 2, titled The Age of Heroes. So I think this line, is like a direct reference to the conversation between Bruce and Diana about uniting the League and getting them ready and, actually coordinating their attack on Steppenwolf and their defense against Steppenwolf and everything. So I think we'll likely be meeting more familiar faces and actually meeting more heroes in this part. But the first part was amazing. The first part was so good. Such a great kind of solid introduction to what the film's going to be, and a great kind of continuation from the ending of BVS and showing what the showing like a little bit of what the stakes are and what's going to be happening and stuff. So going forward, we're going to be seeing obviously seeing a lot more, but hopefully in this one seeing a lot more familiar faces and seeing what the actual threat is, and seeing maybe like starting to talk about what the mother boxes are and why they're important and everything. So that'll be fun. But we met we had two fight scenes. We had the Wonder Woman museum fight scene of her actually being a hero and saving people, which was cool. And then we actually had the more kind of the more integral fight scene of the Amazons fighting to keep the mother box away from Steppenwolf, inevitably failing, but still like a super enjoyable, super well executed fight scene. We also had we had a great introduction between Bruce and Arthur, like Bruce actually finding Arthur and actually investigating the kind of whereabouts of the mysterious Aquaman who brings fish to people and gets in through the water where no other ships can and everything. So that was fun. Obviously, just like Arthur kind of not giving away the whole kind of team player vibe straight away, but still we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. We had that. We had some fun stuff with very, very brief stuff with Martha and Lois. Martha visiting Clark's grave in Kansas and that having its own kind of tone, and Lois visiting Superman's kind of monument in Metropolis and stuff like that. So we had some very, very simple stuff to start off with. Very, very simple, very kind of easygoing stuff to start off with, just to get us into the mood of what the film's going to be and what the story's going to be like. So excited to get into part two. Don't know just how much we might see in this. I think so far like the lengths seem to range from like half an hour to maybe 40 minutes. I think they might get longer as we go on, as stuff starts to really pick up the pace, and then the drama gets heavier and the action gets a lot heavier too. I think we actually might start to see some longer run times, but I think overall it seems very comfortable. It seems to be kind of like very, very kind of well paced out with different kind of parts. Only one part so far, so it's kind of hard to draw all those conclusions, but still looking forward to seeing what we get in part 2. But yeah, that is it. So that was part 1. That was some pre-spec from part 1. So on to part 2, The Age of Heroes. As with part 1 though, if you guys want to catch the full length reaction, because this will just be the highlights, if you want to catch the full unedited version, that one will be over on Patreon. You just need your own copy of the movie from HBO Max or Now TV, depending on where you are in the world, and you can sync it up and it'll be good to go. So that will be over on Patreon, so you can go check that over there. But yeah, on to part 2, The Age of Heroes. Let's go. Whoa. So he's already activated one. So he gets the box and then he activates it immediately.
Go.
Yeah, okay, so he's also not wasting time. Silas Stone? Is that Silas Stone? I think that is Silas Stone, yeah. Because he has the human, he's the human with the position of the mother box. And he used it on Victor, yeah. The Parademon's gonna attack Star Labs. Something broke in or out or down. Yeah, something broke in. No, something broke in. Oh, damn. Okay, the Parademons look a little different too. Yeah, I don't think we got like an up close look at them last time, but they actually, like, that one actually looks, yeah, different. I'm not afraid to say better. It definitely looks different.
Return to me, Diana.
There she goes. There she goes. That's some incredible distance for an arrow too, yeah. Although it's not like a regular arrow, it's the arrow of Artemis. Yeah. Ah, this is the arrow, yeah, I think we've seen this in the trailer. This is the arrow that Diana finds. Yeah. Wow, that is one hell of a warning. Yeah, it's a giant ongoing flame.
Nothing very interesting.
That's all you ever tell us.
What can I do? I'm not that exciting.
You might as well disappear when you walk out of here.
Ryan,
Hey, Doc.
is the
No damage to the electron laser.
Ryan Choi? Is this Ryan Choi?
Ryan Choi? That's us.
Ryan Choi! Awesome! We have Ryan Choi.
They took whatever was in here. He's here in quarantine, working on an ID sketch.
Oh, yeah. That looks like a bat. That looks like a bat. You see, that looks like someone just saw a giant bat. Like, maybe man bat. Yeah, maybe man bat. Yeah. I love the background music, those vocals. Those vocals are great. Is she gonna send one back? No? Oh no, she's making a flaming torch. Okay, I thought she was just gonna send an arrow back like, don't worry mom, message received. Oh, that is good. That's cool. Yeah. So it's not just an arrow, it's actually a key to learn more. Yeah. That's cool. So is this like a whole room dedicated to the coming of Steppenwolf, or like the coming of Darkseid? Maybe this prophesies the ancient battle. Yeah, like an invader that came centuries ago. Yeah, Amazons and humans and everyone came together. Oh damn. Yep. That's him. That's him. This teaser sparked everything. This teaser was the spark that lit the flame. Yeah. Yeah, that ignited the flame. So good. So good. Oh, jeez. Wow. That's a hell of a storm. Yep, just hang on to the outside of the boat. Ah, oh, yeah, the Aquaman's here. The Aquaman's here to save you. Yeah. Yeah, he'll take the bottle. He'll take the bottle.
It's on him.
Yeah, great. We'll say thank you to the nice Aquaman who just saved you. Damn. Ugh. And now we're gonna get that majestic shirtless Momoa scene. There we go. That's the old King Atlan, isn't it? Yeah, the old trident. Yeah, there's a gold version, which he gets in a solo movie. Yeah, old King Atlan.
You keep coming back here.
I can't remember what his name is. I can't remember what his character's name is.
Quiet.
It's your inheritance. Our people suffer.
Your people. A brutal, petty, superstitious race.
Is the surface any different?
Nobody calls me king of the surface.
No, there's that one benefit.
What do you want, Volko?
Volko. Okay, Volko.
Guards never.
Your own family.
I saw my mistake. I slaughtered those who sought his throne.
You still owe the Great One 50,000 more worlds.
50,000 worlds. That's a lot of
Hear your
worlds.
plea.
No protectors here. No lanterns. No Kryptonian. This world will fall. Like all the others. For Darkseid.
Yeah, like look at him. He actually looks more like he actually fits his own motivations. Yeah, it doesn't just seem like a power hungry villain anymore. He actually seems like he's got motivations, he's got ambitions, and he looks like it.
They came here once before. Long ago.
Huh. Oh, we get that battle now. Okay. So this is Zeus. The lantern! The lantern! Whoa, that's him! That's Darkseid! Oh my god. Oh. Wow, that spread quick. That spread quick. Oh, damn. Oh, good god. Yeah. Everyone's going to war. Everyone's going to war. The lantern? Oh, there's only one lantern. Are we still gonna lose this guy? Are we still losing this guy? There's only one lantern. Ugh. Oh damn! Oh no! Oh no! Oh jeez! Oh no! Oh! Whoa! He chopped off his hand! No, no, you ain't getting that ring. You're not getting that ring. No, no. Ares went toe to toe with Zeus. With Darkseid even. Ares went toe to toe with Darkseid. Yep, he's just beheading parademons. Whoa. Yeah, no, don't. Gee. Ares took out Darkseid just like that. Whoa. Damn. So I take it they put it in its own casing too, because it didn't come with the casing, it came in its raw form. So they put it in a protective casing and these guys just buried it. They just buried it. That was it. And then down the line somewhere, Silas managed to get his own hands on it. Oh, that was it. That's part 2. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm just going to take some more quick notes and then I will be ready to talk, because we need to talk. We need to talk. Okay, yeah. So, first things first, right? That ancient battle thing came a lot sooner than I was ready for. It came a lot sooner than I thought it would. I didn't think they'd actually explore it just yet. I thought they'd literally go for like... I initially actually thought, you know, oh, they would show Steppenwolf going around collecting the boxes first, and then give us this chapter, and then we'd actually go into the battle of like the second coming, because I think this movie would be like the second battle to defend the Earth and the second battle for the mother boxes that Earth has ever had. So I figured, you know, oh, collect the boxes first, then tell us why they're so important. I mean, I guess in terms of pacing, it wouldn't really make much sense. I guess I guess it kind of flows better. Like first you're introduced to the threat, and then before the threat actually finishes collecting everything it needs, they actually give you like the story on, oh, what is this threat? Why is it so dangerous? Why should we be so afraid of it? Why should the heroes, you know, be so alert to it, and why should they reunite so quickly? And then afterwards it's like, okay, now, so then after we figure out why it's important, after we then find out and learn why it's so important, then we actually feel that much more investment in the heroes actually fighting to protect the other two mother boxes to prevent them from falling into the hands of Steppenwolf. Because I think afterwards it's like, you know, oh wow, if I knew this before, then I wouldn't have been so, because I mean, we already have an idea, but then, you know, it's like, it's actually giving you that much more reason to actually be more engaged and invested in the actual in the search for the other two boxes. And I think seeing this battle first and learning this history first, and then seeing the other two boxes, I think watching those two boxes be taken by Steppenwolf afterwards would then would then lend a lot more severity and gravity and kind of shock to the whole situation, now that we know what it really means and now we know what's at stake. Because otherwise it would just be like, okay, but you know, because then otherwise it would just be like, you know, oh, so he's collecting two boxes, and I guess I'm supposed to assume that that's a bad thing, and he's the villain, so he's obviously going to do a bad thing with it, but I don't really know what that means as of yet. And then afterwards it's like, oh wow, this would have been really good to know beforehand. So I think first we're like, okay, so I think having one box taken and then knowing that, you know, oh, something bad is coming, but then learning straight afterwards what that really means and what the actual danger is behind that, then I think actually kind of lends a lot more kind of story and a lot more kind of character content and story kind of content to what the danger is, and why we should be so much more afraid of the other two boxes being taken. So that is, I think, just like some smarter pacing on Zack's end. So that was a really, really good way of doing things. But yeah, then we had Hippolyta telling telling one of the other Amazons that they need to actually send off a warning flame. I mean, the first part literally ended with her being like, you know, oh, man won't recognize the warning flame because it hasn't been lit for thousands of years. So they're like the men who would have known, like the ancient men who actually did fight with the Amazons and would have known back then, they're already long gone, and their descendants have no idea what the fuck happened. So they won't have any idea what it means, but Diana is out there in the land of men, and she'll definitely have an idea of what it means. So, literally opening up with firing that warning arrow into the, I think it was like an Amazon shrine in like Greek land, maybe like an Amazon shrine. So she knew it, and that warning, like it wasn't just like some kind of measly flaming arrow that, you know, like that would only be visible to like Amazon eyes. Like even the naked eye, even men found it, but like they didn't know what it meant besides from a giant flaming arrow, you know, thrusting out a flame into the air. And then Diana caught it on the news and found out what it meant, and then actually, you know, like deduced like, oh, it's an invasion that's coming, so she knew what that flaming arrow meant. So that was cool, and then that arrow itself was a key to like an underground cave full of war paintings and everything, and that was really well done. That was really cool too, like seeing how like that one arrow led her to the room, chronicle like war paintings chronicling the first ever battle for the mother boxes that took place on Earth, and then the first ever battle against Darkseid too. Like Darkseid had already come here before. He'd already come here with Steppenwolf and his other people, and like those three old like ladies who tried to commence the unity and everything, so they already came here. So like those war paintings, like her seeing that story unfolding. So like, oh, ancient armies of I was about to say Inhumans, of ancient humans, Atlanteans, Amazons, and lantern, well, a lantern, like an ancient ally from the stars and everything. All those armies coming together, them fighting the parademons, and the mother boxes being there, the mother boxes being part of like a unity, like that story unfold, like her watching the story unfolding on the walls was really cool. And then it all culminates with that shot on Darkseid, and I think, to my knowledge, I think that was the first official confirmation and the first official teaser for a Snyder cut. I think there might have been like another. I think there might have been like another kind of text post, or like another kind of like a general kind of post without any kind of actual content or any kind of media or anything that said, "Oh, Zack Snyder has returned to WB and he is actually working on finishing, and he has been given the resources to start his own to continue production on his own cut of the Justice League." I think there would have been an announcement like that, but I think that teaser that showed Diana looking up at like a wall painting of Darkseid with that monologue in the background, like that I think that would have been like the first official kind of actual video teaser that would have been released of the Snyder Cut and what people came to expect. And that one that blew up the internet. Like people. I mean, there were undeniably comments that said, "Oh, this one teaser was better than the whole Justice League movie." But I think that like that teaser did its job, and it did its job well. That teaser actually gave us something to anticipate, something to expect, and it showed us exactly, and it didn't hold back. Like they literally said, like, "Oh, you wanted Darkseid in the Justice League movie, we're gonna give you Darkseid," and like, it was like a really smart way of doing that teaser too, of showing like, because I think even that teaser it gave us the wall painting, but then it also gave us those like those last like 2 seconds were like a zoom out shot of Darkseid with his ships in the background and him being in that war. So it actually gave us our first official glimpse at Darkseid too. So seeing that room with the wall paintings and Diana exploring that story and her coming to actually understand that story too, because like Diana grew up still, like she didn't start to train under Antiope until like a later age, but I think she was still raised with different stories of Amazons, and I think maybe once she actually started to train, then you know, because then until she started to train under Antiope, I think the only story, or like the most predominant story that Hippolyta would have told her, was about how how it was like Ares versus the gods, and how Ares was kicked out and he was the enemy and he was the villain that they all had to fight and everything. But then once she actually began her training, then she actually came to learn that, you know, okay, she's gonna need more intel, she's gonna need to understand a lot more of our history. So I think it maybe would have been it maybe would have been one of the battles that maybe she was never told explicitly about, but she was told about, like, you know, oh, we've had many, like maybe in the format of like, oh, we've had many enemies over the centuries, many centuries over the many enemies over the ages and everything, and one of them is a being called Darkseid. He's an alien, he, you know, he's not from this world, and he fought and stuff like that. Like nothing explicit until now, so she's maybe familiar with some of the stuff, and maybe like familiar with like a dark power from like another universe, or like a corner of the universe. I mean, they said that he's from another universe. I'm pretty sure he's still from this universe, like still within their corner of the multiverse, but I don't know if by universe they actually mean like an alternate dimension or like a corner of the universe that they're not familiar with, so like it's like another universe to them or something else, but I don't know. But either way, so I think she must have been familiar with it, but then actually seeing that story firsthand, like being like glazing over the war paintings in the cave, would have actually brought back memories and also taught her new information. And then finally coming upon the actual painting of Darkseid. That painting of Darkseid looks so good, and you know, it really kind of goes to showcase his sheer size and his sheer power and everything. So that is just such well done kind of cinematography and such well done actual kind of set design too. Like actually having her walk into a room and then just one corner you just have it dedicated to Darkseid and his and his sheer presence and everything. So yeah, and yeah, we actually had the ancient battle against Darkseid. We had so like I wanted, we had pretty much an entire chapter dedicated to the ancient battle. This was this easily ran. This was easily so much more fleshed out than what we got in 2017's version. Like that was more like an actual kind of flashback, more like this was a flashback, but it served more as actual kind of necessary exposition more than it did actually just being like, you know, oh, this happened, now let's move on to the next thing. Like this actually, like this chapter alone actually worked to explain to you what the hell's going on, why this stuff is so important, like, you know, like what exactly went down. Like it wasn't just even with the narration, with the battle, with everyone involved, and then the writing. Like it wasn't just about like, oh, a battle happened long ago, mother boxes are here now and we have to fight to defend them. And it's like, you know, like there's this badass dude called Darkseid, and he has other disciples, and he works to actually destroy worlds and turn them into copies of his own. And we gotta do some shit. Like years ago, they did the same thing. Years ago, different armies from different corners of the world actually united to fight, and you know, actually take down this motherfucker. But then, you know, and then they succeeded. But now he's coming back. Now one of them has woken up and he's coming back. So now we need to get together. Like this chapter actually worked to kind of really, you know, like eloquently explain that message to the audience and to actually tell us as an audience, like, you know, why this is so important. So it was so good, and they even explained it. They even explained it more in depth too. Like, you know, like the armies were even originally divided. Like Atlantean. Like I think they even mentioned that in the original version. Like, you know, Atlanteans and Amazons don't really have the best kind of history, but even this, I think even this one, that they even said like pretty much all the armies just kind of had their divisions and they had their kind of distances in the past. But then now, you know, like they all kind of sensed and they all warned each other of this kind of threat, this force coming from beyond the stars and coming to take down their world, and then they found that as a very much a good enough reason to unite. And I think that speaks kind of words to like the power of unity itself. Like, okay, sure, we might not all get along, but I mean, not like that. I think because I mean, I don't know if it's more like they just hate, or I don't know if it's more like they actually hated each other, or maybe they just kind of stuck to their own to their own corners of the world, like humans stuck to their own plots of land, and then Amazon stuck to Themyscira, and then the Atlanteans stuck to underwater stuff. Like if they actually just kind of remained in dominion over their own territory, or if they actually, I don't know if they actually hated each other explicitly and then put difference aside. But either way, I think the point was that, you know, like they were originally kind of divided and kept to themselves, but then once they actually all saw this threat coming, they were like, okay, this is our world, no matter what we think of each other, this is our world, and we're not going to let some other alien dude come take over our world and destroy it and turn it into his and stuff. So we had Atlanteans, we had humans, we had Amazons, and we had one lantern, one green lantern. You'd think, I mean, even for this being the first battle, you'd think that this would be a cause for concern, and he'd probably call in some backup, call in some other Green Lanterns, maybe call in like Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan or something. I don't even know which lantern this guy was, but you'd think he'd probably call in for some backup. But no, one lantern was enough, and you know, he inevitably died. He very inevitably died, and yeah, I think the R rating definitely kicks into this one too. The R rating, especially in that battle, it definitely kicks into this one. Like, you know, like that lantern had his hand chopped off. In the original version, it was just like, oh, he was knocked back by Steppenwolf and then impaled, and then the ring flew off. But no, like this one, the lantern went up against Darkseid, and then he was tackled by a few parademons before being tackled by Darkseid himself, and then Darkseid actually chopped off his hand. and then the lantern, the ring flew off. And in this one, I think in this one we see as well, like, I think, you know, in this one we actually, the Darkseid is actually intrigued by the ring. I don't know if he knows what it is, but he's definitely intrigued by it, and he goes to grab it, but then he's hit by like a lightning bolt from Zeus and like a few arrows as well and stuff. So that was cool. Ares. My god, Ares, my man went toe to toe. That dude went toe to toe with Darkseid. He took him out. He essentially took him out of the game. Ares, the god of war, essentially took him out of the game. Like, he came in with his axe and he literally he chopped his staff thing, his spear staff thing, whatever it is. He chopped it in half. He took like a running launch, and then he came down hard on him, and he actually chopped it in half, and then he swung his axe into his shoulder, and that took that, like, you know, that all the blood gushing out. He took Darkseid. Like, after that, Darkseid was struggling to get up, and then his parademons actually had to drag him back to the ship and get him back to safety and everything. And after that, like, even in his ship, you just see him pass out, like, oh, I'm gonna go fight. No, never mind. I'm out of the game. I'm down. I'm out for the count. Like, Ares actually went toe to toe with Darkseid, and he took him out. So that was so good. That was so good to see. And I think it also speaks volumes to Ares too. That Ares was, despite his hatred, like, I think that could have happened. That could have happened before his split from the Greeks. Because I think because even in Wonder Woman, his story was that, you know, he actually disagreed with I think he disagreed with the Greek gods over what the humans were like, and then that kind of caused kind of separation and division, and he was cast out and everything. So yeah, so I think, assuming that this battle does take place before the events described in Wonder Woman, in the first one, then I think that could mean that even if he did have his reservations, he was still willing to focus on the fact that he was fighting alongside his fellow Greek people, and he was fighting alongside them to protect this world. So I think this world he still cares about, but I think it's just like humans he sees as, like, you know, oh, they're doing more harm than good. This world has potential, but the humans are just kind of causing more damage and harm and stuff. So he was actually still willing to fight along them and stuff like that. So then him being the god of war, he has no problem going to I think I had some trouble recognizing him initially, because like that face, I recognize, because I haven't seen the original Wonder Woman movie for like a couple of years at least, not like a few years at least. I think I was having trouble recognizing, but that face seems familiar, and I was like, isn't that Lupin from Harry Potter? Like, isn't that like, that is the actor. I can't remember the actor's name, but the face seems familiar. And then he put on the helmet. I was like, wait, that seems really familiar. And he's fighting along with the Greeks. This is feeling all the more kind of, you know, familiar as time goes on. And then he actually comes down, and then he actually starts to fight Darkseid. And I was like, wait, that's Ares. That's the villain from the first Wonder Woman movie. So I was like, wow, he really went toe to toe with Darkseid, and he fought him, and he took him down, and that's what made them actually, and like that united front, that united effort actually sent their enemies sailing back to the stars. So Ares took him out. Ares, you know, he went toe to toe with him. He showed him Greek might, and he showed him the might of the united armies and everything. So damn, Ares got some strength in him. Ares got some in him. So yeah, that was good. So yeah, I mean, in terms of that mythology, that kind of history, so she even explained what the mother boxes do. So it's not just like, I think in the original one it was actually like terraforming and turning into boxes, but this one she actually talks about how it doesn't just do that. It forms like the unity, and then it cleanses the earth with fire, and it turns into a copy of what Darkseid's world is. I think I'm aware that Darkseid's world is Apocalypse, and it literally looks like a hellscape. So his kind of plan, his intention is to go around converting probably every world into copies of his world, so that he can rule over a universe of just his world and everything. And that seems pretty interesting. It seems like a pretty kind of solid kind of character motivation, like an evil villain motivation at least. Like, he wants to rule over like a universe maybe of like copies of his worlds, and like just have worlds that belong to him. But also, like, not just that, but also that, you know, Earth is the only survivor. Earth is the only planet where he hasn't succeeded. Like, every other planet he's gone to, he's likely faced resistance to, and he's likely fought those armies too, but then in the end he's always overpowered them. He's always won. He's always managed to complete the unity on those planets, and those planets have become copies of Apocalypse. But Earth is the only one where the armies actually united and managed to defeat him and send him away, and they actually managed to survive. He came close with the actual swing of his spear axe thing, and he actually started to actually, like, send the fiery trails through the earth. Like, that was a really cool shot. That was a really, really cool shot. But yeah, thanks to the united forces of thanks to the united front of Earth's kind of ancient forces, they actually managed to save the Earth. And Earth is the one that he's coming back to with a vengeance. Earth is the one he's actually coming back to, and he's intent on completing what he started, and intent on it, because it also doesn't reflect good on him that he's managed to kind of defeat and terraform all worlds except for one. So now Earth is like the one he's going to come swinging at even harder the second time round. So it makes sense that they now need a Justice League to be able to actually fight him. So that is that again, just some more really cool history on Darkseid and who he is. And we also had Steppenwolf actually contacting Darkseid. So in the trailer, I didn't know that was actually a completely different character. It was only afterwards I was like seeing the response on social media. People were like, "Oh my god, they actually showed us Darkseid." So I was like, "Wait, that's not Steppenwolf." I literally thought that was maybe Steppenwolf with his helmet off and a hood up instead, but no, that's someone completely different. And we even see in the beginning of this part, Steppenwolf is establishing contact with him. He's actually establishing contact with Darkseid, and there's some history. There's some history that Steppenwolf is trying to redeem. Like, he apparently betrayed. He made a mistake, and he betrayed. Like, in the eyes of Darkseid and Darkseid, he betrayed Darkseid. But then in his own eyes, he made a mistake, and he's trying to redeem himself. And I think he owes Darkseid 50,000 worlds. So I think whatever mistake he made could definitely be linked to his terraforming of worlds. Maybe whatever mistake he made actually prevented or slowed down the process somehow. But maybe it definitely cost him worlds. And like, Darkseid is clearly on like a mission to actually eradicate and turn all worlds into like giant extensions of Apocalypse. So whatever mistake he made cost him those worlds. So now he owes Darkseid 50k more worlds. And I think that is, like, thinking about what he's doing now, I think it definitely is like an interesting way to redeem himself. Like, like, he owes him 50,000 worlds, but then what better than to give him back the world that he lost the first time round? Like, like, oh, you lost Earth the first time round, so now he's back on Earth, back in hiding, and now he's sending his parademons out to collect all the different boxes, and now he's actually back on Earth, like the one planet that survived all those years ago. So now he's actually back, and I think I'd say in terms of like his actual like value, and in terms of actual kind of redemption, and like in terms of terraforming and like taking worlds and making them his, I'd say given that he lost Earth the first time around, and that's arguably his biggest loss, I'd say Earth is probably worth the 50,000 worlds that Steppenwolf now owes him. So it's like, I think it could still be like the first step in a long journey for redemption, but I'd say Earth is a pretty good step. Like, oh, like Master Darkseid, let me get Earth for you, and you can come here and you can turn it. I mean, because he is like he is still, I think he is still like in some country on Earth, and he is still like he's at like a nuclear power plant that's like that still has enough power to still kind of draw on the mother boxes and use that. But he is still building a shrine. He is still building a shrine, like a place for Darkseid to arrive at, so Darkseid can still come and he can still actually do his thing. So then I think maybe he gets Earth ready to terraform again into Apocalypse, and then he actually builds that place for Darkseid to come, so that Darkseid can try like a round two, being like, I've prepared the entire world for you, Master, so now you can actually do what you failed to do the first time, or take back what humanity and everyone else like stole from you the first time around, and actually finally reclaim Earth and claim it in the name of Apocalypse and everything. So yeah, that is an interesting piece of history. That's like an interesting kind of take on Darkseid, that he actually that he's not just like a servant to. No, I mean, it's an interesting take on Steppenwolf, that he's not just he's not just a servant to Darkseid. He's also someone who failed Darkseid in some way, and now he's actively fighting to redeem himself and to actually show the people that, because like, it's not just a matter of actually, and it's also not just a matter of actually turning worlds into Apocalypse. It's turning it's turning the inhabitants of those worlds into parademons. I mean, we know that, like, once I think in the first cut we actually had that, people get killed by Steppenwolf or the parademons, and then they themselves turn into parademons. So I think it's like also a matter of actually having all those followers. So like all the parademons that Steppenwolf has with him right now are likely in like former inhabitants of other worlds that have been turned into Darkseid, and now they follow him and they do to other worlds what was once done to theirs. So it's like an interesting kind of journey that they go on, from like fighting to defend their own to then fighting to kind of claim others in the name of Darkseid and Apocalypse. So yeah, it's again just really great stuff. Really great stuff. And we also met Silas Stone too. We met Silas Stone for the first time, and he works at Star Labs in coordination and in communication with the Department of Defense. And he studies xenotechnology. So I mean, hearing Xeno, the first thing that popped into my head was Xenomorph, like from Alien, which is funny since I've never actually seen that movie. I've never watched Alien or Aliens or like any of the Alien kind of movie series, or I haven't watched Predator either. I haven't watched Alien. I haven't watched Predator. I haven't watched Alien versus Predator. I haven't watched any of those movies. But I'm still kind of aware that Xenomorph is a term from that kind of franchise and everything. So hearing Xeno, it made me think of Xenomorph, and I was like, xenotechnology is just alien technology. So like Superman's ship, the Kryptonian ship, they have that, so they're kind of studying that and actually kind of working out how it works. So he kind of specializes in alien technology, so that's why he also has the mother box. But we know from the history of him and Cyborg that he actually we got a glimpse at Cyborg, like somewhat of a brief-ish introduction. So that hopefully next part we actually get to meet Victor and actually see what he went through. Because I think even judging from the trailers, Zack will not hesitate to go into his kind of history as like a high school football player or like a college, like a football player in general, and also his accident and what happened to him and what his dad did to him and stuff. Because even in this one, he maintains that mentality of like, oh, you should know a lot about monsters and especially how to make them, because he still kind of holds that grudge against his dad of what he kind of did to him and how he brought him back and everything. So also looking forward to seeing the backstory of how he actually kind of salvaged Victor's body and how he used the mother box to put him back together and everything. So that's why he was working with the mother box. And he also so Ryan Choi, not played by not played by Osric Chow, the actor, not played by him. That one is exclusive to the Arrowverse. But with this one, we still have someone playing Ryan Choi. We still get like an Asian American actor playing like Ryan Choi, and we still get that character in this. How much of him we get in this, I'm kind of because I think he definitely seems more like a supporting character. So I'm kind of afraid that I mean, I don't think he was really hyped up for this. I think he definitely wasn't in the trailers. I think he wasn't in the trailers maybe because he's not going to be in this that much. So Zack maybe wanted to avoid hyping him up only for people to be disappointed in the end. So I think he may not get much more. I think what might happen is that like in the Cyborg backstory, they might show Ryan actually helping him put Victor back together, or maybe helping him study the mother box and helping him do that stuff. So like he's not all that involved in the present day stuff with Steppenwolf and everything. He's not going to be coming in as like the Atom or anything, but he is still. They're going to show that he has like a science background and he is who he is, and maybe it might spawn on to more successful projects and like a potential spin-off for him in the movies or whatever. But either way, it was cool to see him. And he does kind of have that kind of working partnership with Silas Stone, so that was cool. But yeah, so we had Ryan Choi and then the mother bus. So then we saw the Parademon. And that Parademon looked really different. Like I think even in BVS and even in the original cut, like he again like just like anyway, like he basically, I think the Parademon designs looked really different too. Like they actually looked like humanoid people with like humanoid legs and arms and like just like humanoid kind of bugs, but with like the wing sets. But with this one, it actually looked like a really kind of grotesque like something out of like a creepypasta. Like its legs were all angled and scaly and really bent out of shape, and it actually looked like it was actually, it looked different. It looked more alien than we've actually seen in previous movies. I think that kind of definitely had like a positive going for it. But we actually got like an up close personal look at a Parademon, somewhat more briefly because it wasn't like in great lighting or whatever. It was like in like a dark room with a red light filter. But that definitely kind of lent in more to the to the more menacing and fearsome aspect of things. So that was cool, and it unfortunately killed the janitor that was working that night. So I think that parademon was definitely. I think, like, it's just since Silas is working there, it would make sense that the parademon would maybe smell like, like the scent of the mother box, like mother box technology having been used there. So it actually goes straight for the lab first, but then it maybe follows the trail back to Silas home. So Silas doesn't really take it with him. I don't think he doesn't. I think if he does, he's extremely discreet about it. But he does keep it at home mainly, where his son also is. Like, his son being cyborg, he has like a weapon system. So if need be, then he can actually be around to defend it. But it is just kept in like a closet in his home, which isn't really the best place. And also, I think it also begs the question of like how the mother box escaped in the first place, because it was buried by humans. So like unless there was some kind of science expedition that Silas was a part of, where they actually discovered some kind of like unearthly technology being buried when it was like underneath the earth, then maybe that might explain it, and then maybe Silas comes across it, and like I think since like Silas worked to actually put his son back together, maybe he actually found like a way to piece him back together, but he obviously needed the mother box to power his son back up again, so he actually looked around extensively for some kind of power source, and he came across like something about like he maybe sensed or caught wind of like some kind of unearthly power or some magnificent power being buried under the earth, and he found it, and then he dug it up, and then he used it to bring his son back to life. And then now he also like on the side, he also happens to know exactly what that kind of power is, and like what it's worth and stuff. I mean, he did say he didn't know, so he was studying it, but I think he has some kind of idea, but it's good enough of an idea for him to know that it's too powerful to be in anyone's hands, so he kind of hides it away in his own home, in his own closet. So that's just great. So I think so like a brief intro to Silas and who he is and what he's done, and like a very brief intro to Cyborg. Very much looking forward to seeing what Victor's character is like, and how he's kind of properly and further explored in this in this cut, and seeing exactly how Cyborg performs, and hoping he gets more screen time in this. But do Cyborg and do Ray Fisher some justice. Let Ray Fisher actually do as best as he can do with this character. Let him do what he wants to do. Let him actually show you what he's capable of when it comes to portraying Cyborg and Victor Stone. So I have no doubts that that Zack Snyder actually did kind of go forth and give him that kind of material, and give him that kind of screen time and power to work with, and they actually came up with something beautiful. So I can't wait to get into future parts of this and see what's what. And we also had Arthur returning to Atlantis and just kind of having trouble falling back into his Atlantean roots, and he kind of refuses to kind of stick around and be the protector for Atlantis that Atlantis needs. But Vulko, so yeah, Willem Dafoe's character is in this, so he is Vulko. Like I did like kind of remember him at the last minute in the first part of like, oh yeah, Willem Dafoe's in this. He was in the Aquaman movie. He's in that kind of story. But Vulko pretty much did raise Arthur and teach him about his Atlantean roots and teach him how to control his powers and everything. So he is still sticking around as his kind of legal Atlantean guardian, if there is such a thing. But he is also aware. He knows about the Mother Box and its kind of presence and its importance within the Atlantean kind of stronghold and its kind of vaults or whatever. And he also knows that one of them has been taken, and that something is coming to pick up the rest of them, and that it's not anything good. Nothing good. Like what's good is the Mother Box is actually remaining hidden away in secret under protection and that kind of stuff. So he knows that if something is coming to take it, it likely isn't coming to take it with any good intention. So he knows that Arthur needs to pick up his mother's trident, pick up the suit, and actually take up arms again, and actually fight to protect Atlantis, and actually fight to maintain protection of the Mother Box and stuff. So I think seeing Vulko being the one to deliver that message as well is really, really cool, and shows his kind of innate knowledge of Atlantean treasures and their possessions and everything. So that was really fun. And then we actually had something closer to the beginning, like Bruce and Alfred's kind of scene on the plane. And yeah, so like that one, like he actually, I think Bruce definitely kind of holds that kind of remorse and regret over not over actually letting Superman die, and actually not actually listening to him and trusting him sooner. And I think it's undeniable that in this cut, like this one being a continuation of Snyder's vision for what this story is, it's going to be a lot more kind of eloquently presented and a lot more eloquently kind of, you know, established. Like it's not just Bruce's remorse, it's him actually, you know, letting his anger and his rage and his judgments get ahead of him, and letting his judgments determine the fate of that battle, and the fate of his kind of view of who Superman is. And then in the end, like by the time he did trust him, it was too late, and then stuff happened, and you know, Doomsday came to life and all that kind of stuff. So with this one, he actually, like, he even tells Alfred that, you know, he swore on Clark's grave that he would actually, you know, reunite and, like, you know, like actually bring unity back to the world in order to defend it from like an even darker threat coming. So, you know, we know that he's going to try and bring Superman back, but I think I think it's also cooler for consistency and continuity's sake that he's actually established that he's already willing, he already wants to protect the world in Superman's absence before even considering the possibility of bringing Superman back. He's like, you know, like, we have to learn to come together and be one united team without Superman before we rush into the kind of decision of actually bringing our most powerful ally back to life. Like instead of actually, I think that's what I think that's one thing I look forward to, and one thing I can easily anticipate from this story, that it's going to be less about rushing into bringing their biggest gun back, but also just kind of uniting for the sake of protection and unity, and for the sake of actually protecting their world, instead of actually just relying on Superman for the whole thing, and relying on laser eyes and, you know, big guns and stuff like that. So I think seeing how Bruce progresses from actually fighting as themselves to then actually discovering the possibility of bringing Superman back with the Mother Box is going to be a very interesting kind of progression of character to see, and to see how he goes from that to actually bringing him back, and how they fight as one is going to be really great to see too. So I can't wait. I really can't wait. But yeah, I think going forward we'll definitely see. I think now that we have this story of the Mother Boxes and Darkseid and the Ancient War, now going forward we'll have even more enthusiasm and engagement with actually trying to defend and protect the Mother Boxes from falling into Steppenwolf's grasp, and seeing exactly what more story we can get from Darkseid and Steppenwolf, and seeing more story from like Arthur and Victor and Barry as well. Like they even mentioned Barry. They even mentioned like the kid from Central City who could actually run, and like, you know, like you know, like Alfred even said, oh, it will take me a while to actually deduce and decode whether or not this is actually kind of legitimate or not. But either way, we'll eventually see the Flash soon, and see exactly what kind of power he has and stuff like that. So that will be very fun. That'll be very fun. But yeah, this is going great. This is going so well so far. I'm really enjoying both part 1 and 2, and seeing how the story has begun and how it's continuing. I'm really enjoying how Snyder is executing, and how he's actually carrying the story on so far, and actually how he's introducing and uniting these characters so far. And the motivations are very clear, and the kind of necessary kind of resistance is very clear. So it'll be cool to see how they all come together, and how these characters are actually kind of like how they're different from one another, but also how they like how much like stronger they are united. Like seeing that kind of story progression will be really cool to see, and I can't wait for part 3. So I will see you all soon for part 3. But as with part 1, this part's reaction, the full length reaction for part 2, will be available over on Patreon, so you can go check that out over there. Just need your own copy of the movie, be it from HBO Max or Now TV or wherever it is, like however it's available from your corner of the world, and that will be equally fun. But yeah, that is pretty much all I've got from this one. So that was part 2 of the Snyder Cut, titled The Age of Heroes. So thank you guys, as always, so much for being here and for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed it, then salt and burn that like button. Comment on what you thought of the episode and what you think is coming up next time, what you look forward to seeing in part 3, and any spoiler-free comments again that you have, feel free to share them, and what you thought of this part as well, and what your favourite parts were, and once again, the full-length reaction over on Patreon. You can go check that over there, and yeah, that is it. So I will see you guys next time.